What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with Password. We are back with another video. I'm going to start off with the screen to show that yes, I do have the compendium. I do not have anything in it though. I'll show off the compendium after we beat Password, because I think in order to unlock stuff, you have to beat the game first. And apparently, I was told that the compendium you're supposed to unlock after you at least beat the game once. So I don't know how I have it, but you know, it's there. So anywho, let us continue where we were. So what are we on this? Oh, I remember. All right. Whoops. So for we were on day 6 because no, we're on like day 13 right here. Oh my god, I hate my life. I clicked save and it saved on date. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing, bro. Oh my fucking god, bro. That was embarrassing. I'm just gonna skip through all this. So if you guys don't know what just happened right there, I accidentally clicked save instead of load. So it saved on the part where it saved on day. So I'm just gonna skip through all this. That's good. This is a great intro so far. Whoa. How far in this were we? Okay, I remember Sal. I remember Sal coming in here. Okay, I think this is where we left off. Okay, yeah, now I remember. Okay, now we can actually start. Welcome, guys. Welcome back to Password. This is episode 15, I think. If I'm wrong, don't scold me in the comment. No, don't actually. Yeah, by the way, I want to say, as of right now, we have reached 100 subscribers on the YouTube. Let's fucking go. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will be doing a live stream on Playtime with Parsi somewhere in the very, very near future to celebrate this goal. So, yes, thank you guys so much for the support. Let's see if we could get to 200, you know, then 400, then, you know, into the future. As of right now, like, thank you so much for the support, guys. That means a lot to me. I love you all. So, anywho, let us continue. Alright, so, yeah, awesome. Alright, what are you doing? I rubbed my eyes and took a stock of what was happening. I saw Osmond sitting at the table across from Roswell, clutching his coffee much in the same way I would. Nothing. Roswell was helping himself to some cereal. Eyes focused on the older boar opposite to him. Just eating breakfast. Osmond's eyes bulged. The last few crumbs of cereal fell out of the box, signaling that there was nothing left. Good morning. My greeting went ignored as Osmond's jaw was clenched as he continued to staring at Roswell. The others seemed to pay him no mind, some taking a seat at the table, while a couple of others wanted to get interested. That better not have been the last box, Roswell. I would have thought the cereal was for kids based on the slogan on the box. I don't know why you're kicking up such a fuss over it, Mr. Hammond. Oh, you little Benson! The voice cracked. Whoops. It's currently like 9:30 in the morning as of recording this. Osmond hollered, looking around quickly for the butler. A few of us flinched, but went back to groggingly sitting at the table. Sure enough, Benson emerged with the rest of those missing at the table, and food was brought along with them. Yes, Master Osmond? Did you give Roswell that box of cereal? I did not, Master Osmond. Is there a problem? A problem? There won't be as long as there's another box remaining. And by all means, you're welcome to go check while I attend our guests. You're the butler. You check. But what host would I be if I neglected the needs of our guest? No reply came from Osmond, instead just looking between his butler and Roswell with a scowl. Wasn't like Benson like filled in the fatherly role model for Oswin and when he was a kid or something. Oswin and his siblings, cause I don't know. Now, if you were that bothered by your lack of your preferred breakfast, you have two legs of your own, sir. You're welcome to check the pantry. Damn. Uh, a few moments later, and he stood suddenly, grunting before stomping over to the kitchen and throwing the door open, disappearing into the adjoining room. Now then, Master Roswell, did you really need to provoke Master Oswald like that? Not really. Good morning, Master Dave. Did you require coffee? Is Oswald gonna be alright? That's something I wouldn't worry yourself over. Yeah. Orlando piped up from nearby, keeping his eyes on the food he brought. It was like this at dinner too. Roswell asked him a bunch of questions and figured out what buttons to press really quickly. Hey, after last night, I had a lot of pent-up curiosity that I figured he'd make for a good person to vent to. By asking him questions non-stop, he looked ready to throttle you. Had Master Roswell not been as slippery as he provided, he might have. You wouldn't let that happen, though, would you? Of course not, Master Dave. I may serve Master Oswald as butler, but I am not about to let him bring harm to our guest. Or act as a child. As I continued on and Roswell started eating her cereal, I grabbed the piece of toast. Going without coffee today? That's unlike you. Huh? Oh, right. I poured myself a mug from the pot on the table and had sugar and milk passed to me carefully by Orlando. Thanks. Sure, no problem. Yeah, okay. I saw nudging Dean, who seemed to pick up what he was meant to do so. Oh, right. Orlando, how are you holding up? Good? He knows, Orlando. Oh, then could be better. But I think I'll be fine. Think. You sure? Don't need, I don't know, something to help things along? A talk? A distraction? I sank in my chair. Part of me felt this was just for show, or to highlight where I was failing. Well, I talked to Sal about stuff last night, but we got plans for something we'll do later. I'm interested in keeping my mind busy. Well, good. How about we round up people and just, I don't know, maybe we could bust out a big game that we could all play. Yeah, I think I like that. They continued talking and Orlando's spirit seemed to pick up. Turning my attention to Haas and Tyson, they seemed to already be talking about something. Hey, there's my favorite person, Tyson. If Ren was here, hey, I wouldn't have to voice Tyson. That would be one thing. But another thing, it feels so weird playing Password without literally my number one guest here. I'm telling you, you're picking one today, if you're lucky. What are you two talking about? Nothing important. Nothing important? Geez, you have a long way to go. It's just whatever you call it. I don't have a favorite show yet, and you're asking me to pick a favorite character from everything you've watched. Which is very important step in the process, big dog. I don't think you should call him that, Haas. Why not? Ty doesn't, Tyson looked at me funny, somewhat confused. It's fine. What? But you and... I felt confused. He tore into me for bringing it up days later. Haas is getting away with it, with the same thing, no problem. It didn't feel fair. It's not like I'm fucking thrilled over it. I'm just putting up with it for your sake. But, well, I wore him down, I guess. All about the give and take, right? I went to speak again, but the words caught in my throat. Anyways, I'm not picking one. Come on, it's not even that hard. Even Dave has one. Even if his taste is to be refined. Refined? He's saying you have shit taste stripes. Oh my god. I miss him calling me pup, bro. Like, again, I will never get over that. Like, again, I got the updated version. So, like, this is not the recent updated version. This is the updated version that was released in March. So, right now, gotta have to subscribe to their Patreon if I want the updated version. But Anywho, yeah. So I met like before the update, he used to call Dave Stripe, not Stripes, Pup, and now he's just calling us Stripes. I feel like that's I'm not used to it. I'm not used to it. I I don't. You do, but that's all right. Different strokes and all that. There was something else weighing me down. No, the judgment of what I find appealing and what I like. Normally we go back and forth, not just Haas and I, but Roswell and Orlando too. But now with everything else, it was just wearing me down. Oh, right, of course. I was focusing on just my coffee instead. Dave, listen, you wanna watch anime with us later? Oh, already taking the initiative? Gonna show him your favorites? Dude, what the hell? I'm allowed to invite who I want. Thanks, but no thanks. I flashed him a weak smile instead. Got plans already? Something like that. But, maybe I could join you guys later? Ty sighed, leaning back in his chair, rolling his shoulders. Sure, Stripes. Sure. Nodding to him, I stood up from the table, wandering to the kitchen with my mug in hand. Even having missed dinner, I wasn't all that hungry, but I wanted the excuse to get away from the table. Where's the blasted? I entered, and as I entered, I looked at Benson, who was off to the side, watching as Oswin dug around in the pantry. Pay him no mind, Master Dave. This is just Master Oswin sourcing his own breakfast. He straightened, setting a colorful box on the counter and sighing out. That boy's lucky there was another box. Perhaps this is a sign that you should leave the children's cereal for the children, sir? I'm a grown man. If I want sugar cereal for breakfast, then I'll be damned if I can't make that decision freely. What about your teeth? Or eggs? Eggs. And That's crazy. Dude, that's crazy, Dave. And bacon. He does have a point, sir. Scrambled eggs is something manageable. Chocolate cake. Chocolate cake, bro. Oswald. Okay, buddy. Yeah, no. Chocolate cake? You are not having chocolate cake for breakfast. Why not? You really think that's an appropriate meal choice for first thing in the morning? Why, glad you asked, Benson. I do. Really? Why? I thought cake was for dessert or whatever. Be that as it may, sir. I'm not making you chocolate cake for breakfast. Then sugar cereal? And now we're back to scrambled eggs, right? Did you want eggs, Master Dave? I quickly shook my head and heading over to the coffee machine instead to contemplate if I need another cup or if I should go without. Dave, how are you feeling? Fine. You don't sound fine, my boy. I'm fine, really. How'd the last night go? Fine. I shot him a look and he gave me one back, accompanied with a raised brow. Should it have not been? No, I guess it's going fine. It's a good thing. Master Ross will entertain Master Oswin with enough questions to keep most of your friends satisfied with his presence here. I turned to Oswin for clarification, and he nodded. Quite the mind in that head of his. His aptitude for being able to find what makes people tick is truly worrying, however. I dare say you missed the show, Master Dave. With a grunt, Oswald started pouring himself some cereal, earning himself an annoyed if fleeting look from Benson. Oh, yeah, you said that Roswell was being slippery and Oswald would have throttled him if he caught him, right? He moves faster than I give him credit for. It's a wonder that bastard child is fast, and given how pudgy he is and all. That's not nice. That's not nice, man. Come on. Come on, you did not have to do him like that. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. We are back. We are back. Apologies. I was checking something. That's not very nice. Just stating the facts. If it makes you feel better, consider it my jealousy showing him that I wish I had less weight to slow me down. And I see you're going great lengths and to remedy that fact by eating your second bowl of cereal. Grumbling, Osmond crunched what mouthful he had before the finally I can't pronounce stuff, guys. Again, it's early in the morning. Laying our spoonful of cereal into his mouth. Now, my boy, are you sure you hadn't want anything for breakfast? Another cup of coffee, perhaps? Still standing by the coffee machine, I gave it a once-over before shaking my head again. No thanks, I'll be alright. I wandered out from the kitchen into the hall leading to the foyer. My friends were on the other side of the wall, conversating among themselves, and while I couldn't hear the specifics, I could make out what they seemed to be happy enough. So why wasn't I happy? I thought about where my sadness stems from. There was only one real place. I thought that said One Piece for a second. I thought that said One Piece for a second. A room that I barely lingered in, if I didn't need to. It'd been that way for, well, it was the room where I was told what had happened. Most of the time I went for a walk, it was to get out of the house. Just down the street and rarely into the wilderness like this. Dean had driven me out in the big garden before, and we'd walk around together. But that was just something to do, right? Then there was Tyson and the occasional trips down to the beach. I had a lot of great memories despite getting told constantly not to eat ice cream inside the car. There was something about how ice cream tasted. Whenever we went, though, somehow sweeter, or maybe it just reminded me of happier time as a whole. I looked around the trees before glancing back at the house. If I wandered further in, maybe I could have some alone time, right? Or walking into the woods, are you freaking kidding me, Dave? There was a risk for sure, much like what happened with Roswell. I could end up out there, here. But was it really that bad? Was spending the night out in the woods all that bad? If I wasn't around, I couldn't be hurt by what the vault had showed me. I wouldn't have to look at my friends looking at me funny. Was it pity? Disappointment? I didn't really know. Struggling into the forest, I left them all behind. What's this music, bro? Come on. This music makes me feel some sort of way, dude. It makes me feel a sense of nostalgia. Or some sort of, like, I don't know. I hope you guys could hear the music. I'll rise the volume a bit. I could hear the sounds of running water. After a while of walking, I couldn't say how long I'd been walking, but eventually I arrived at a river. The water's clear. The water was clear. The water was clear. The sound of it oddly calming, taking the edge off. Someone had mentioned this, but at the moment I couldn't remember who exactly had told me about it. Taking a look around, it seemed as if I was totally alone. No fish in the river, no sounds of other animals or birds, or anything else nearby. It almost felt like I was the last one standing as I stood at the edge of the water, looking down into my own reflection. Without the choking smell of chlorine, I sighed, looking at the hyena staring back at me. My hands traced my cheeks across the underbed of my nose. It was the way the water rippled that made me squint to make out the other details. Shot of the fur color, I was a splitting image of my dad. It was a legacy that I wasn't sure I liked now. Looking at myself in the mirror was a harsh reminder of him gone, right down to being unable to smile at my reflection. I thought about if he was watching over me, and what hope that sentiment meant felt more like a curse weighing me down, not through anyone else's fault, but my own. Looking up at the river, it winded through the trees, cascading over a cliff off into the distance, and further on. Where did the river start? Was there anything else out there? Wandering upstream, I figured I'd see it where it went. Climbing up a steep incline near the waterfall, I dusted myself off and looked around anything else that might have looked different. From what I could tell, this is the clearing by the river. Seems to be a makeshift campsite. I wonder. There was a ring of stone placed around some of the middle, clearing with a large log sitting nearby, acting as a bench. Taking a seat, I looked around. It seemed nice enough, but a crisp breeze made me realize just how cold it could get out late at night. I closed my eyes and breathed in deep, the fresh air helping me clear my head a bit. But with a clear mind, thoughts came rushing in to fill the spaces, making me think of home. Come on, sport! Where are we going? Dad puffed out his chest, hands on his hips proudly. Don't want to adventure with you, old man? Dad? Oh, no. Always, Dad. Good. Then buckle up, because we're going to get something awesome to eat when we get there. Is Mom coming? Not this time, but she's at work. Almost like she never wants to come out with us anymore. I sighed, hopping into the car and closing the door before buckling myself in. I tapped on the window, indicating for me to lower it. What a long face, bucko. Fidgeting in my chair, I tried to keep my eyes anywhere than his as he stuck his head through the window, slightly looking at me proper, fishing for an answer. No reason, I guess. Seems like there might be one. You won't get mad at me, right? No matter what. So, what's got you down? Mom still loves me too, right? What? I was enough to make him recoil and hit his head on the roof of the car as he pulled. Ouch. What would make you think that? Just, she's barely home, and I don't really remember the last time she smiled at me. Did I do something wrong? Don't you ever think we don't love you, David. You did nothing wrong. You're David! Oh, no, wait, I forgot. They have the same name. David. I keep forgetting they have the same name. Like, but his father is identified as David, but he can also be identified as Dave. They both share the same name because David Holloway Jr. Yeah, he's a junior. He's a junior like me. Oh my god. My middle name is Junior though. I'm a junior. Dave is a junior. Yo, I am 100% Dave core. I am 100%. I am the Dave Kinney. I am a Dave Kin. Bro, literally me and Dave have so much in common. Can you believe that? You did nothing wrong. I promise. He had a serious tone going, staring me down. Sorry. Dad sighed, running his hands through his fur before wandering around the car, jumping into the driver's seat and buckling himself in. We didn't leave the driveway. Instead, his fingers drummed on the steering wheel. It was the only sound we had as he hadn't even start the car and when he stopped, I turned to look at him. He just smiled at me. Maybe it was a brave face or something else. I couldn't say. I remember what he said next, or at least the individual words, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember specifically how it sounded. Love you. Oh, I'm gonna save right here because I accidentally fucked up my save file, guys. I love you, bro. As I opened my eyes, the campsite came back into view. The world around me hadn't changed outside the faint sounds of nature, now being something I was more aware of. Had it all been drowned out as I lost myself in my head, or in a daze? My eyes looked at the water as I sat on a log, watching it flow steadily downstream. I wonder what would happen if I... Oh my god, Dave! God! So... Oops, putting that out there, content warning, because content warning, this speaks of serious stuff, guys, so yeah, content warning right there. I wonder what happened if if you, I'll probably put a timestamps as to, like, where it will stop, or something, I don't know. There you go. Right, yeah. So, timestamp right there. It'll probably be in the description. I don't honestly give enough of a fuck right now. I wonder what happened if I drowned right here. If this was the place I died. I wondered if it would hurt, or if some miracle would come along and stop it from happening. I wondered why the idea didn't scare me as much as it probably should have. Was I a coward? Selfish? Probably. Of all the places to choose, at least there was peaceful. At least here was peaceful. By the way, turn up music volume. Just a little bit. Peaceful. It would solve all my problems in one go. My sadness, my stress, and guilt. I'd be able to see Dad again. Hopefully. No. Before I knew it, I was standing up and slowly walking towards the water's edge. Oh my god, Dave! My feet felt heavy, but my chest felt light. I wasn't having trouble breathing, but each breath rattled out of my barely parted mouth. Step by step, I got closer, not breaking the stride once, with my eyes locked on the spot somewhere in the middle of the river. Before I could second guess if I was going to follow through something falling into the water, I stepped on something solid but smooth, enough to make me look down to see what it was. I looked at what I picked up rolling over in my hand. A thick glass syringe with the needle capped off by some sort of plastic thing at the end. Had it been used? Why was it out here? In the sunlight, I caught a glimpse of something half buried underneath some falling leaves. And now this distracted from what I was originally doing. But I went to investigate. Kneeling down, I picked up what it was too, assuming another needle, but instead it was a bottle. Small, unassuming outside the label it had neatly printed out on its front. Cryptoc. The first word was long and I wasn't sure exactly how to pronounce it, but the second word I heard before, some sort of illness that Mom had mentioned once, I think. With each item in hand, I looked between the two. The bottle was empty, with a foiled seal on top punctured. The needle, while capped, still had what looked to be condensation inside. A few moments later, I yelped and quickly dropped both, drawing a conclusion I didn't want to believe. Did someone inject themselves here? Or did someone else inject another person? The only person I knew would be out here was Roswell. But that thing was following me. But that thing that was following me, was that out here? Could that have been part of this? I picked up both and put it in my pocket carefully. Why are you gonna... Osmond said things had gone missing from his lab, so maybe it was some of it? Either way, he knew better. My mind raced what it all meant as I soon looked around again. My resolve in focusing onto the river was shot, and likely for the better. Instead, it was replaced with curiosity, and I headed upstream. A watermill. I lost track of how long I was walking, but I was in no hurry. Taking occasional breaks to look about in the trees, something gave me the impression that I was being watched. Before me, sitting right along the water's edge, was a rundown mill. Moss and vines seemed to have claimed the place after many years of no use. Just like before, this place seemed quiet and serene. I would have said that if it felt like I was truly alone, but the feeling that I was being watched didn't get stronger for the longer I stood out in the open. Is anyone there? Carefully I looked around and called out quietly. Silence. Nothing but silence, to answer my question. I didn't really want to go inside the mill. After all, who knows what could have been in there, or if I would accidentally step on a loose floor panel and get trapped. It was a reminder that I didn't tell anyone where I was going, but I only had myself to blame. I couldn't get angry about them not coming to save me because I didn't give them the chance. Not only that, but when I got back, I had no excuse for them to be mad at me for being a hypocrite yet again. I slumped my shoulders inside, leaning against one of the beams, holding up a trough above, bracing against something. I whined out. The trouble is making me hesitate and turning back now. Oh shit. My ears perked back at the sound of a twig snapping. I looked around, eyes darted around the trees as a source I heard again. Out in the open, the sound echoed around me. It was hard to place exactly where it had come from. Being out in the open left me exposed, and how I felt now, deciding that heading inside might not be the worst idea, all things considered. Inside the mill was dirty, and much like the outside nature, it had claimed most of it. Walls were cracked, but the stonework held together, despite the vines growing through the holes and along the walls. Looking behind me to see if I was being followed, I ducked behind the doorway, trying to stay out of sight. Not that it'd help if I'd already been spotted. Reaching inside my pocket, I held onto the syringe, reminding myself that I had something in the way of a weapon, just in case things went sour. It didn't look like there was any abandoned tools nearby that would make for a better option anyway. I heard another twig snap, followed by someone calling out. Hello? Someone there? The voice had a ting of amusement to it. Somewhat squeaky too, so it could rule out being any of my friends. Even Osmond and Benson didn't have a voice to match that. Heading around the corner, I couldn't see anything. No sign of whoever it was that was also out here. They kept calling, asking where I was hiding, but it seemed like they weren't making an effort to get closer. I weighted up my head further into the mill in an effort to hide. I was leaving would just let whoever's calling out to find me, right? It grew closer as I ventured further in. It seemed like I was heading more underground too. What the fuck is this music? Nah, this is some of that fucking Resident Evil shit or Evil Within shit. The air was stale down here, like half-broken slabs of concrete making up the flooring. Large pipes and machines seemed to be everywhere, all powered by the water wheel outside. Or if it was powered by anything else, I couldn't see a generator. There was something about this place that made me feel odd. The ceiling was high above, jagged pieces of metal jutting out at odd angles from the ceiling where they'd rush and falling apart over time. How deep does this place go in the ground? What was it for? Lumber? Off to the side, there seemed to be a chute of something to drop down from a level above onto the conveyor belt that ran alongside the wall. At the end was a saw blade, ready to cut whatever. Oh my god. There was something about this place I couldn't quite place. It wasn't sadness, but a feeling of unease that came from within. Familiar in a way, but I couldn't place how. Hello? It was her voice again, smug and amused as before, now closer. The voice echoed through the building as I bucked up against one of the large metal chambers that dotted the room I was in. Footsteps, light, but somewhat clumsy maybe? But that wasn't what stuck out to me. As good as my nose was, I couldn't smell them at all. Nothing to distinguish who they could be or anything. Was it because of the air in here? Straightening my ears, I listened as they moved around searching for me. They could have been friendly for all I knew, but something about this just seemed like bad news. The footsteps sounded like they got closer before they stopped entirely. Gripping the syringe tightly, I waited. And waited. A breath that I didn't even realize I'd been holding. Figuring out I must have misheard them leaving. Ooh! Oh shit! A shock made me fall over, hit my head as hard as I landed past. We passed out? Oh! When I came to it, I was back outside. It seemed darker and I wasn't sure exactly how long I'd been out for. I was only half certain what I'd seen right before falling over and sat up groaning. Quickly checking my pockets, it seemed though that everything still much to my relief. My head was still spinning, but I seemed unharmed. Outside my tumble, and I let myself properly get my bearings. Whoever it was I ran into didn't seem to be around. How late is it? About 6. Oh my god. No, no, my memories are coming back to me. Okay, so for context, I think in a previous video I mentioned this. So, I remember seeing this fella, but I have never gotten to this part before seeing it. I had a dream, and it showed this dude. I don't know who the hell this dude is, but I remember seeing this dude, and now that I'm seeing it now, it's kind of freaking me out. Like, how does a dream literally predict, I'm literally Dave, guys, I'm telling you. What voice should I give him? Now 6. Whoa! I fell over again, landing on my rear, yelping as I nursed my tail. What? You got curfew? No, I mean, who? Where? Oh, scared ya? Not gonna laugh on me, are ya? I stared at the hair, unsure of what to make of things. Yeesh, watching you has been a hoot, but I didn't think you'd be so flighty. More on the edge than any of the game out here, that's for sure. The game? Animals? Got in one. I didn't expect the hyena out here, though. He gestured wide with his arms briefly before staring at me more. What's your name, kid? Dave? What's a hyena like yourself doing this far out, Just on a walk, I guess? On a walk on this mountain? Yeah. The hare whistled, looking around. Must be a long walk, given you look like a city folk. Well, no, the hare stared at me some more, waiting. Well, you can't just walk here from the city. My guess is you're one of them Hammond kids? Me? No, I'm just staying there, I guess. His attitude seemed to shift. Disappointed, maybe? It was hard to tell. Just a guess. Shame. Shame how? Well, getting in good with the rich folk has never been a bad thing. Can't have one of their guests lost out in the woods now, can we? I'm not that lost. I'm just, Mr. Oh, me? I'm not Betty. But call me Jack. Jack. Okay, yeah, I remember that name. There's something about what he said that made me feel uneasy. I knew Osmond didn't like rabbits, so maybe that was just... oh, yeah. We asked him about rabbit. He doesn't like rabbits. I have a bad feeling about this guy. Like, if my nightmare was bad enough, then I could see where this could be going. Well then, Dave, you had a bit of a fall inside the mill, so I brought you out here. Only because you snuck up on me. Really now? Didn't think you were scared so easy when you're out here by yourself. Didn't think a place as big as the Hammonds would only host one guest at a time either. Oh, it's not just me. Oh, family of hyenas visiting? Well, I imagine the house be full of laughs then. No, no. Oh my god, racist. It's just me and some friends. Friends? It was almost as if the concept was forged into him. Now, with how thoughtful he seemed to be after echoing what I'd say. Hmm. Sounds fun. It's been something like that. You kidding? A whole mansion and you ain't having fun? I groaned and slumped on the spot. There's just been a lot going back at the house. I probably shouldn't get into it. No? Why's that? You know the house, right? I mean, of course you do, because you know the name of the person that owns it. So, oh yeah, plenty of stories about that place. Her stories? Sure is. Recluse lives there now with his butler, smart as a whip, and occasionally gets visitors every now and then. That's not much of a story. Well, that's not the story. The story is he got a machine in his basement. You wouldn't happen to have seen it given you live there, have you? Oh, you mean I caught myself before I say anything, noticing Jack's eyes light up the moment I trod off. So it does exist. Well, that's good. Well, that's nice to hear, given why I know about it. You've heard about it too? I've been told about it, sure. Hard to remember. It's not a time. He thinks it's a time. It's not a time machine though. It's not. Oswald literally told us. Unless he's lying. I mean, like at this point, can we even like how much can we trust Oswald at this point? Can you guys let me know how much can we trust Oswald at this point? Because it's like he says it's not a time machine. Jackass over here is saying that it is a time machine. Like what the fuck? I've been told about it. Sure. Not hard to remember the talk of a time machine someone's built. It wasn't a time machine, was it? Is that why the door hadn't opened? Was Osmond just lying about it? How funny Jack was being, I was leaning towards believing what Osmond had said about it. Well, maybe I should see if I could get it working when I'm back at the house next. If you ever get there. Wait, do you know your way back? Reckon you're stuck without a guide. Oh, I'm sure I can figure it out. I'll just head back down the river until I find something familiar, and then wander back from there. The river doesn't go anywhere near the house. You would end up getting to a waterfall at a sheer cliff before you get back to the city, too. It's not that bad, is it? You're welcome to find out. What about you? What are you even doing out here? Just hunting. After all, there are some big mountain. There are some big mountains, and there's nothing like being out where no one else is around to bother you. Sorry if I bothered you then. I just figured the mill was something neat to look at. No bother. Wondered who was wandering around right here. You sure? You sure you're fine to be hanging back to the house by yourself? Yeah, I'll be fine. Thanks. Something wasn't right. Stranger danger was a thing that I'd been taught as a kid, but it didn't really sink in until now as to what that had meant. I was getting an off feeling about Jack. Something about how he moved, talked, even stood there as time went by. I'm getting feelings too, Dave. I'm getting feelings too. You don't know your way back, Dave? I'll figure it out. Hit your head pretty hard, Dave. Maybe I should take you back to where I'm staying so you could rest. No, no, I'm good, really. Took a couple steps back, shooting him over a smile. It wasn't all that convincing, but I didn't want to turn my back on him neither. You at least want me to point you in the right direction? Do you know where the house is? General location? Sure. Wouldn't be much of a hunter if I couldn't navigate this forest by now, would I? Without me asking, he pointed the direction away from the river, through the trees. And that way. Terrain might be a little harder, but that's the direction the house is in. Got a long walk ahead of you, though. Changed the look direction he pointed out before pointing back at him. Thanks. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna head back to my own little hidey hole. I think. Safe travels, Dave. Well, she's heard heel wander off, disappearing out of sight, the opposite direction to where I was headed. Sighing out, I took a longer look where I needed to go. But then I thought about what Osmond said about rabbits. Maybe he was right, that rabbits couldn't be trusted. Was he lying? But if I followed the direction he pointed, I would even make it back to the mansion? What if it led further away? I had a choice to make. Trust Jack, doubt Jack. Ooh, fuck. Ooh, this is hard. I'm gonna save right here. I'll overwrite this save. Ooh, this is hard. Okay, no, because if you think about it, if because we were by the river, we walked to the river, we found a campsite next to it. We found a campsite next to it. Uh, no, doubt him, right? Shaking my head, my gut was telling me that there was something off about what he said. Maybe it was the direction he'd given me, or maybe that it was his. tendon, where he'd even gone off to anyway. His hidey hole? I wasn't willing to just follow him blindly. Worst case scenario, I could find my way back in the river and wander back down to the campsite, or even take shelter in the mill and make my way back in the morning. For all I knew, Jack was up to something. I don't know what it was, or if it involved me, but I didn't trust him, including the directions back to the house. So I picked the direction and started walking, assuming I could just double back if I didn't run into anything. I thought you said you were going to follow the river, Dave! What the fuck? I mean, the immediate area around the mill seemed, as the rest of the woods, had hit a cliff wall that seemed to be continuing on for a while, and I didn't bother following the river any further upstream than when I found on our waterfall. I don't know why I expected to run into Jack out here, or find out where he went, but it was something I wish I knew. It was meant to be a shack out here, right? Was that his hidey hole, or was the shack just where the mill was meant to be? It really was in the middle of nowhere. Alone, I thought about we're in the middle of nowhere, guys. I should have followed. We're in the middle of nowhere. What the fuck? Dave, you literally said you could just follow the river all the way back to maybe the campsite and then find your way back from there. Bro. We made a lethal decision that could probably end in our upbringing or something. I really was in the middle of nowhere. Alone, I thought about my friends back at the house, and if I'd been lost out here, much like Roswell was, it was a mistake I came out here by myself. I tried smelling the air to see if I could pick up anything, but the dust from the mill was still clogging my nose. All I could smell was the musty old smell from the underground instead of fresh mountain air. As I rubbed my nose, I caught the sounds of Jack somewhere far off. He seemed to be talking with someone, but I couldn't make out the specifics. I couldn't even make out which direction he was in, for how his voice echoed off the trees. Sure. The more I focused and listened, the more I could make out some words. Some hyena, yeah. I don't know, we're not out here for. Maybe he was on the phone? I went to check my pockets on my own, realized I must have left it back at the house, and the others nowhere. At the very least, Dean would have been able to find me, right? Maybe Roswell, if you remember the way to the campsite. I was assuming a lot, thinking that Roswell even used that particular campsite, when there could have been many others scattered around the place. You're killing me, you know that? Jack's voice got closer, and he seemed to be on the move. I didn't want to be caught unintentionally eavesdropping, so I doubled back to the mill, continuing my way back downstream. Thank you! With little light to work with, it was fading quickly. I remember Dean saying that there was no point heading out into the woods at night, just in case we injured ourselves. I wondered if maybe it was best to try to make myself comfortable in the night, as much as I already started to feel the temperature starting to drop. The thought of being out here made my stomach rumble, reminding me that I hadn't eaten the better part for 2 days, or at least not enough for it to be substantial. My legs were sore from walking so much, and I sat down wondering how Haas could be so fit. Was it conditioning? He seemed to like walking most places, or even going for a run. I like walking. It'd be much up to what I knew of Sal as well, being used to lifting and carrying things from what I've heard from Orlando. Sitting down on the log, I buried my face in my hands, sighing out. I made a mistake coming out here. At least now I remember not to do something so stupid again in the future. The sound of twigs snapping nearby made me look up. Jack, what the fuck? Jack reappeared, approaching slowly. Still in here, huh? Didn't I point the way back? You did, but, you said difficult terrain. He chuckled, rolling his shoulders. Not able to deal with difficult terrain, huh? Good to know. Yeah, I was wondering what you meant by that. Did you mean rocks, cliffs, or... Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter? Didn't end up going that way. I guess not. He got closer, resting his foot along the log, leaning down to look at me. I leaned back away from him as he did so reflexively, going to the needle concealed in my pocket. Planning on camping out here? Not bad spot. I haven't decided yet. I thought you went the other way. Why are you downstream? Well, you know me. I guess I just got lost. He chuckled low while keeping his eyes on me, inching a little closer still. For me, shuffling a little further back, I seemed to get the message. You came out here all alone and didn't bring anything for supplies? What are you, an idiot? That's not very nice. That's not? Who the fuck cares anyway? Yeah, well, I care. Leave me alone. Come on now, Dave. Haven't you ever heard of the kindness of a stranger? Maybe you should come back with my shelter and stay for the night. You can tell me about your friends and what's got you down with that house you're staying at. I stood for a moment, almost as if Jack's expression shifted more towards the smug satisfaction. But then it faded as soon after as it was clear that I wasn't intending to follow him anywhere. I'm gonna head back now. Thanks for getting me out of the mill, I guess. In a flash, he moved forward, grabbing me by the arm. I don't think... I don't do anything for free. You owe me. Hey, let me go. Not just yet, Dave. I know something you could pay me back with. There's a thing I want to know. You met a guy that owns the place, right? I spoke without thinking, trying to pull my arm away from him. That was my priority. Osmond Hammond? As I pulled, he let me go, letting me land on my back on the ground. No, good. That makes things easier. What about his butler? You still kicking? Yes. He's old, but sure, he's around. I kind of seemed to like that answer. His jaw clenched and hit me with a voice low. That's just great, isn't it? I was hoping it was going to be an easy job, too. Oh well. Don't want getting a messy job when the pay is good. What? I don't understand. What do you mean? I got on my feet, edging away from Jack further. There was no point in being subtle about it. I wanted to get away. All the while, he just grinned, looming over. What I meant is that I've been out here a few weeks, bored of my mind, and I want to have a little fun. So get to running date. Oh no! Let's play tag. Oh shit! The moment I saw the knife, I ran. I didn't even stick around to wonder what he was intending to do with it. I had no idea where I was going. I could barely see, and it took everything I had to stop myself from tripping over many roots that lined the forest floor. How I wish I was more fit. My heart was pounding in my chest and lungs felt like they were on fire, but I wondered if that I hadn't collapsed from exhaustion. I felt a chill run down my spine as I heard Jack somewhere behind me, calling out in a sing-song sort of tone. Dave, run, run as fast as you can. It was a fear I hadn't felt. Oh my god, it was a fear I hadn't felt before. Cold and dark somewhere deep down that kept me moving forward. It was different from the cliff and the river. It was different from back home. It was even different from thinking about my friends, and I wasn't sure if it was a good or a bad thing. The darkness of the forest seemed to ease me up, but I was getting used to it. Or maybe just being chased with my life on the line is making things easier. Not that I had much way of knowing where I was going. Gonna have to do better than that, Dave. I yelped as I rounded a tree and dove around Jack as he swiped lazily with his knife. I could feel the sting of it shear some fur off my... Oh my god, that was a near miss. Keep running, playtime isn't over. With one hand on my ear, I pulled there, propelling myself forward, struggling to find my way. It all looked the same. The woods outside my breathing was quiet. But then I knew where to go. I didn't see it, but I could smell it. Cherry pie. I knew that smell. But then I must have baked something that led me back to the house. What guilt I would have felt if not doing the same thing for Roswell would have needed to wait. All I had to do was follow my nose and I'd be safe. I'd be with my friends. It wasn't home, but it'd do. Jack was still following me though. Every moment I stopped to take a deep breath, I could hear him somewhere behind me approaching. He wasn't running like I was, but pacing himself. Maybe his stamina was just better? Even through the trees, I could see the soft glow of the lights. The smell of cherry pie was growing stronger too. There! I'm there! I looked behind me and there was Jack, still with the knife, gaining speed, his white fur sticking out in the darkness of the night ghost. Not there yet! I whined, trying to loosen. Last bit through the trees, almost choked as he grabbed me by my shirt, pulling me back towards him and then onto a tree. I whined, clutching my chest. The house was right there, and I turned to look. I felt Jack's tip the knife at my throat. I closed my eyes. What else was there left to do? It'd be over soon, hopefully. From how hard I was running, I could barely form words. It wasn't much of an upside, but at least they'd be able to find my body easily. The sound of a gunshot made both of us jump, and as quickly as I realized that happened, I fell to the ground, covering my head. Cowering on the ground, I heard my assailant flee to the forest again. Despite being so close to the house, it didn't feel so good. I didn't feel safe. Instead, I felt sick, like I was able to pass out by something that was keeping me conscious. I couldn't keep my thoughts together. My tongue tangled, and my inability to pull myself together was making me hyperventilate. The adrenaline was nice while I was running away, but now I could barely breathe as I clutched my chest. I collapsed to the ground, clutching my chest. Had I been shot? Had Jack? What had happened? Dave! Looking up, I could see Dean skid to halt in front of me, dropping his knees, holding me with his shoulders. I wanted to tell him what happened, what I'd seen, but how I was feeling. But nothing came out of my mouth except a raspy breath and the cause of nausea. God, you're pale! Were you in the forest all day? What happened? Dean, did you... I saw Orlando ease back to my knees by Dean. Everyone! Dean found him! He was quick to leave again, rushing off somewhere in sight. clinging to Dean, I won grass fair, my heart pounding on my chest. Try to keep myself centered on Dean's honey-like scent. I struggled to calm myself down. It's Dave. Yes, I can see that. Whew. I heard a gunshot, and we can discuss this later. Get the boy inside. He picked me up as I clung onto him, digging into the muscle under my fur as letting go the same as if letting go was the same of dying then and there. Where's that fucking rabbit? I could tell it was Osmond, though the tone was different, crazy almost. I could make out what seemed to be a revolver in his hand before he shoved it into his pocket. Damn it all! Sir, now is not the time to be gaveling around the crusade over rabbits. Osmond grunted, sitting stiff. When I tell him what happened too, apologized for not taking his warning seriously, or at least what I assumed to be one. At least Dave is accounted for now, but he's suffering. The sound of what it made between a mixed whine and a rasped cough, the tightening in my chest became worse. Then do something about it. You're a doctor, right? Again, I tried to speak. Osmond stepped closer, looking me in the eye. Sit him down, Dean. I was afraid of breaking, sending me down the stairs, sitting me against him for additional support. It's alright, Dave. You're safe now. You know, so worried. Oh. It took everything just to get that word out, and I tried to stand, slipping on the stair below me, falling onto the cold tiles of the foyer floor. In a flash, Dean was by my side. I heard the others rushing closer. We were in danger, and they were all in danger, and it was my fault. I couldn't breathe. My vision was blurry, and I started to lose my ability to hear. I got an idea. As in shape blurred, rushing past the stairs, I couldn't. God, I can't speak. Dave, listen to me. I need you to tell me where that rabbit went. You can't be serious. That's the priority for you right now? Roswell went ignored, and Osmond stopped to me. It's very important. Where did he go? I took everything I had just to shake my head. The smell of gunpowder was strong, and Osmond was bringing memories to the surface that I couldn't fight off. Should we get him somewhere? Maybe we should at least pick him up off the floor? Dave, try to relax. I'll put you in your bed when you're ready, and when you're ready, you can tell us what happened. I saw calm down. I pushed him away. I could do it. I had to. Dave, please. So, stand back. What are you going to... In a flash, Osmond pulled something from his coat and thrust it against my neck. The sound of air escaping indicated that something had happened. What did you do? Something I was saving for the rabbits, but they should put Dave at ease for at ease. Whatever they said next, I didn't catch. Instead, passing out then on the floor. It started with my vision, then my body went numb, and at least to go, my hearing was the last voice I heard Benson saying something. In a way, I was relieved now that everything had stopped. Were they dead? Asleep? Either way, all I could do was let whatever happens happen. Oh my god. Yo, Dave almost fucking died. Whew. Whew. Is this what Red been talking about why I should have picked path B? That was intense, bro. I want to keep going. We're good. If I had to describe it, it felt like falling. Not through air or through water, but something in between. Maybe like jelly? And then the heart said, why the long face? Priceless, right? Huh? What? My hand scrambled over my front and breathing picking up where I was. You know, because he was a horse. No, not that. I mean, because horses have long faces? No! Dad! Stop! What did I do? I thought you liked that joke. I was in the woods? Right, and Jack was there. Yeah. What else, Steve? Dad, where are we? Well, you know, me, always getting lost. I stepped back, not only that, but each step I felt as what touching the ground slips. You never get lost. Don't I? Well, I guess there goes that cup. Oh, yeah, it's Jack. You! Hello, Dave. Shall I pick up where we left off? I started pulling my ears, feeling sick. I could feel my heart rate pick up, although something was wrong. I felt numb somehow, like I wanted to beat faster, but something was... What I did know was that it hurt. Leave me alone. Not gonna run this time? Think Benson's gonna come save you? This isn't real. I made it back. Did you? You wanted to die before. Why not now? A wave of guilt washed over me. When I couldn't think of an answer, Jack approached, the knife almost disappearing from his hand as he approached. First the cliff by the road, then the river. Maybe you stuck around because you hoped something bad would happen. No, I just thought. What? That some loser in the woods would actually needed your help? Well, yeah, it could be plenty helpful. Like your dad. Oh, yeah, real helpful like your dead dad, Dave. God, bro. I looked around, I was saying, so Jack. Be honest with yourself, Dave. Your dad was a hero, a police officer. Your mother is an accomplished surgeon, but you, a child. I'm more than that, aren't I? Are you? Compared to your friends, you're nothing special. Even Tyson has it more going for him, and he dropped out of school. I've gotta be. Now, what if you can't? What if I can't? Maybe you're better off dead. Yeah. Maybe I'm better off dead. That's it, Dave. It'll be all over soon. I lifted my head to look at him. He approached with a knife. I was frozen to the spot. I could feel something prickling on my neck. It felt so natural. My breath picking up. Oh my god. Natural is how you would say it? Fuck. Some part hurt deep down. Expected a gunshot, but I knew it wouldn't come. Just give up, Dave. Let whatever happens, happen. I sat up suddenly in bed. My hands went to my chest and I was already breathing hard. I felt hot and what I hoped was just sweaty as my eyes darted around the room. Where was I? What happened? What time was it? My mind was still racing with what had happened in the forest. How I'd gotten back, if barely, what would have happened if I've only been a little slower. I gulped and hand went to my neck where I could feel the very edge of Jack's knife really threatening my throat. As my fingers tightened around my neck, I winced in panic for what I've only just avoided. Everything just seemed like it was a dream. Or at least I hoped so. Struggling to piece together what had happened to end up in my room, the door opened. Roswell! Roswell kept his eyes averted as he closed the door, resting his head on. Thank God you're alive. He sighed suddenly to me because I kind of hope you still be sleeping because, well, this is going to be hard to ask. I shifted over so he could sit down on the bed, but even then he didn't take up that much room. How are you holding up, Dave? Did, So scratched his head, filling with his hands as he tried to figure out what to say. I suppose I should start with, you're safe, I guess? I thought we found that rabbit. The tightening on my chest itself, known as the panic, came back. No, Dave, it's alright. Benson's been on warpath trying to find him, and we've seen hide nor, well, that's what he's told anyway. I felt sick, doubled over in bed. That's when I realized I wasn't wearing my hoodie, and I patted myself down to look what I found in the woods. When you blacked out, well, we couldn't leave you in the foyer. That's when something fell out of your pocket. Hoff snatched it up, and Dean and Tyson put you to bed after. Seemed to have a long discussion about what happened among themselves over it, too. That happened part of the lingering fresh in my mind from my dream. It made me quake and whine while I sat there. Dave, what's been happening with you? I only ask because, well, the moment people realize you're awake, we all have questions for you. Like, where did you go? Why? Who was that? I always grip tightening on my chest. Sorry. I'm just worried. What if my best friend had died? What if Oswald had overdosed you with, well, sure, it's only sodium amethol, but he also said that it has some hyponic properties. Look, did you want me to go? I could just pretend that you're still asleep, but someone's going to get you out of bed at some point. He got up, shooting me a smile so fleeting, it may as well have never happened. I'm glad you're alive, Dave. Hopefully, you feel better soon. Roscoe got up of the bed and wandered over to the door, closing it behind him. He could hear him talking to someone just on the other side of the door before continuing on his way. I lay back down, sighing out. I was happy that I was alive, or at least I assumed so. Maybe I was just thankful that I was alone this time. My God. Turning over, I cuddled my pillow, tried not to think of anything. It was always the same thought process, wondering what if, and if I really should have survived. It'd been twice I'd considered dying then and there, so it was that my life had directly threatened. I knew I didn't want to die. I sighed, quivering in bed. It wasn't because I knew better. At some point, I blacked out again, swimming in my thoughts. Had the drug really been that potent, or was I that exhausted that I couldn't tell anymore? It was almost like we were floating sink into an inky black. It was an ocean only meant for me. The street came into view. Just as I remembered it, there was only really issue with me going outside to play growing up. Like, outside for the most part. Next door, what used to be Roswell's house was still there, although I never went inside. It was always easier to have him come inside how often Dad was around to make sure we stayed out of trouble. Speaking of, Tyson's house was several doors down and looked much as the same after many years. Tyson had changed, but his house sure hadn't. Orlando had came over. Haas had too, if only once. Sal was probably the only one that hadn't been over. Not that, but there really wasn't much to show these days. Hell, even Dean had driven back to pick me up on one of our outings, but had never had the nerve to come inside. Or maybe it was just waiting for an invitation that I never thought to offer. But the days people coming over were long over. Shy of Tyson, who'd come over to keep me company, I'd rather not be in the house. The living room was one place I didn't like to spend time anymore. I'd hurry I'd hurry through it on the way to the kitchen or from the front door open to my room upstairs. Where's my room? A comfy bed, an adjoining bathroom, a desk littered with some pots of paint. Not that I used most of the colors these days. I wasn't colorblind, or at least I didn't think so. Some years ago, when I noticed Mom and Dad acting different around one another, some of them started to look the same. Not that it didn't stop me from getting things in different colors. I like color. I kept a few special things I had collected in the top drawer of my desk in various shades of blue, but these days they all look the same. God, this is so I like it, but Dad? I turned around and there he was, standing at the doorway of my bedroom, looking proud of himself. Why'd you have to die? There wasn't any answer to that question, but I asked anyway. He couldn't answer, and instead all I could see was his face. When he wasn't sure of something, he worried that he was letting me down. My friends might coddle me, but I paid attention to what people felt. What they did when they were sad. Maybe not as good as Haas was picking out how people were behaving, but I knew basic things. It was a question that was stumping me from the moment I was told. Maybe I just refused the answer in favor of just hoping Dad would end up coming home. If I wasn't broken enough, the cemetery finished me off. The only thing I could think of from that day was how Mom looked and the tightness of Ty's hand holding me. It was funny given until now I hadn't considered that maybe I hadn't cried then. I knew Mom didn't, so maybe without Dad I just copied what she was doing because I didn't know how to process what was happening. When I woke up, I felt different. Not better, but different. Sitting up, I swung my legs over the bed as I rubbed my head, grasping out breath. If I'd left, I'd be asked questions I didn't want to answer. Not that I was waiting long before the door opened. Leave? Oh God, what happened? Why are you on the floor? I sat up, slowly looking at him. Lando was nice, a great friend, lovely shade of yellow. I couldn't smell the cinnamon, so maybe it was dreaming? He came to sit next to me on the floor, carefully moving my head around so he could look at me. Are you okay? I didn't have the heart to answer him, knowing that I couldn't say anything positive, leaving my answers as a gradual look towards the floor. Inside. Well, I'm happy you're alive. Once again, I left his comment without reply, instead watching him stand back up and hand to offer me help. Come on, let's head downstairs. Everyone will want to, I tried off, slowly easing back his hand. Okay. That was all I could say. Anything more and I was afraid that I'd start coughing. If I could ask for anything, it'd be water. But I relished the excuse not to have said anything. Okay. Reaching out for Orlando, he offered me his hand and I took it gingerly. It was warm and propped me up so I was standing. Dave, he visibly torn between wanting to hug me and give me my space. They're waiting. He stepped into the hobby with Orlando standing beside me. Nothing else instead lingered near. This is gonna go something, guys. Come on, let's do this all together now. Oh yeah. As we got closer, I could hear the others talking among themselves. From their tone, it seemed like a serious discussion, if a hushed tone. Maybe in case I overheard them, but for the most part, I was processing what white noise. Then I arrived at the dining room, causing the hush to fall over the group. Everyone's here, although it seemed Osmond was lingering in the back, looking thoughtful about something. My friends thought though each wore a look of worry as I looked at each one of them in turn. There was a tightness in my chest lingering, even as I crossed the floor to sit down in the chair reserved for me. I kept my eyes on the table, waiting for what was to happen. I got I can't speak. I'm speaking too fast. I caught Haas patting Orlando on the shoulder as he approached, signing out. Alright, there's no easy way to say this, Dave. But what happened yesterday? That's not funny. You scared the hell out of us, and, well, we're all lucky you're still here. Remaining quiet, I opt instead to look at everyone else, finding each of them catching my eye before looking away. You make a show of going off and no one caring, and then you do it again yesterday and almost die coming back. None of us know what was going on, but you changed since we arrived. Why? I know this was my idea, but I didn't think you'd grill him so hard when you agreed, Haas. Did you not catch the part where he almost died, Roswell? It's bad enough that our phone reception had been cut off for whatever reason. I had thought to check my phone carefully. My hand went to my pocket, finding that I'd left my phone upstairs. If there was no reception anymore, how were we meant to call for help from him? I don't mean anything by it, but maybe you should be a little more gentle. Look at him. Now they were talking like I couldn't understand them. My eyes went to Dean and quickly looked away instead to look at Haas. Just come on, you can be nicer about it, Haas. Fine. Dave, what's been going on? No one's told me anything, so I'm left here to figure this out. Oh, but after yesterday? I guess it's because it's not ours to tell. And can I just say how bullshit that is? I'm sorry, but if my friend's upset, hurting, or even dying, it sucks that I have to sit by and watch because everyone's too something to fill me in on it. Drop it, Haas. I will not. Look at him. He's sitting there in a daze, and who could blame him? He barely escaped death, gets drugged the moment he gets inside. And does anyone remember the last time he ate? Days. At least not unless he's been sneaking food when no one else is around. Right? So I tried catching my eye, but I shielded it away. He was right, and even now, I wasn't all that hungry. Am I going crazy, or is no one else nearly as worried enough as I am? Yeah, no, we're all worried. Fine, he's sad. We'll just pick him back up. Dude, he's sad? That's the best you can do? I tensed up and tried to catch his eye. Instead, he just stared Haas down to little effect. Well, Dave, mind explaining this? He played it in view of everyone. Haas set down the syringe and bottle and... Oh no! They think... Oh my god, they're gonna think that I tried to do something. They're gonna think I tried to do something, man. No, that's not what happened, Dave. Tell them. Well... Osmond marched his way down the length of the room the moment Haas had finished talking. He moved with a purpose, swiping both and turning... What in the world? How did you get this? I wanted to explain, but couldn't find the words. It was easy to say. I just found them in the woods, but the words didn't even come. It's fine. I'll go run some tests on the vial to see what the label matches up. Benson, if you would give me a hand, I feel like this talk is best when without us present. Very well, sir. Take as long as you need with your talk. Two of them left, taking with them what I'd found in the woods away, but not before everyone had a good chance to see exactly what Haas had presented. Please tell me that wasn't what fell out of Dave's pocket. But I don't understand. Why'd you have something like this? Did you go into the woods to use it too? You didn't. Dave, talk to us. Did you try? No, I refuse to believe it. Thank you, Roswell. Fuck you. W for Roswell. Like, I don't give a shit what you guys say about Roswell, unless if there's some clear evidence why I should hate this son of a bitch. He wouldn't kill himself. YouTube. I meant YouTube. He meant like in game YouTube. Suicide in game. Not like hung my head in shame. How far has one have ordered to have tried? Have I ever even tried or just thought about it? Well, it sure looked like he tried. Why else would he try injecting himself with a disease? I don't know. We all just been bad friends. Haas sighed, running his hand through his mane. This can't be our fault. At least not entirely, right? I like to think Dave wouldn't tell us if we did something. Right, but he hasn't, so maybe this is all just a big misunderstanding? W. Russell. Maybe, but he is right here. No need to talk about him like he's not here. I may as well not have been with how those words remain lost somewhere in my head. What was there to say? What possible excuse should I have had? I closed my eyes and sighed quietly. While the others continued to talk, they weren't saying much, just bickering about why I had it and had what I had and what I had speculated on if I planned on to kill off myself. They were worried, panicking that they were about to lose me maybe. I just wish I wasn't already lost in my own head. I could tell them that I was alright. Alright, let go, Dave. Let them die. But whatever happens, happen. Those words again. The first one uttered by someone that sounded like Dad. They were comforting. Maybe it was just the reassurance that things were okay. Maybe it was a permission that I was allowed to not be constantly on guard. The second one, though. I couldn't place the voice, but it was familiar. Maybe not Dad or even Mom, but maybe more like me? I wasn't sure. I opened my eyes again to look at the others. Tyson had Hoff by the scruff, and in turn, Dean had his. They were fighting over something someone said, I think. Roswell was holding his nose, and Orlando was rubbing his back, all while Sal acted as a barrier between them and the other three. Sorry. All at once they stopped to look at me. Don't worry about it, Dave. Well, hang on. I want to know what he's sorry for. He apologized. Leave him alone. We're not getting into this again. We can't help him if he doesn't let us in. But you can't force it. What if you make it worse? I clutched my chest, feeling my heart beat faster from the stress. What could I say? What would make all of this stop? Unless you're going to explain what's wrong with him, then I'm going to keep pushing until I can latch onto something that will let me help him. I looked at Tyson, pleading with him slightly. I couldn't be the one to explain. Even if I did, he'd make it more real. You sure? You sure? He had his eyes on me, waiting for me to do something to hint one way or another. All it took was a nod, and he sighed, scratching his head. Shit. I didn't think I had to be the one to do this, but alright. See, the thing is, I didn't need to listen to Tyson's version of it. I remember it all vividly in my head, like it happened only a couple of months ago. It was like any other normal day, really. I just didn't think it'd become as bad as it did. Oh, so, what? Dave, mind giving me a head for a sec? But Dad, TV. Since when did TV trump your old man? I laughed, grinning broadly as I laid back on the sofa. I don't know, TV's pretty good. Dad wandered to the kitchen and stand in the doorway leading to the lounge room. Oh, is it now? Come on, champ, please. Well, only because you said please. We both laughed, and I got up with the sofa, wandering closer. I remember him throwing his arm over my shoulder as I got close enough, and we wandered into the kitchen. So, what did you need, Dad? I'm trying to find out the takeout menus. Wait, that's all? They should be in the bottom drawer. That's what I thought, but they aren't there. Huh? Maybe Mom moved them? She better not have moved them. She's picky enough as it is, and I had quite the collection to make sure that there was a variety. It's nice if we got another family meal together again. Usually it's just me and Ty. Sometimes you if Mom's around, but it's just her and me. Well, you know how work is for both of us. We'd love to be here, or at least I know I would. After all, how could I not like spending time with my favorite son? Dad, I'm your only son. Well, I guess so. Maybe I should adopt Tyson so you have some competition. Don't you dare. Yeah, we both laughed as we scourged the kitchen for the menus. I hadn't thought much about the statement until now. The thought of Tyson officially becoming family somehow felt great. Not that there was any chance of that really happening now, What we had worked fine enough, and we didn't need to share the last name for it either. So what are your plans for tonight? I'm assuming they're the same as usual. I'll caught up on homework, so maybe I'll get some paper and make something. Ty still coming over? Huh? Is he always coming over? When is he not over, sport? Either way, I invited him over. And got stuff to ask him anyway. What kind of stuff? Guy stuff. Great. I'm a guy, so you could tell me too. Well, I stopped looking over. I stopped looking for the menus to turn to him. He was scratching his chin and thinking over. Maybe when you're older. Great. I'm a second older now, so do I qualify? Not yet. And now? Nope. How about now? So help me, David, I will turn this car around. And once again, we broke out into a laughing fit, and almost immediately I heard Dad telltale gasp of triumph. Score one for Dad. Menus have been found. Aren't you at work tonight? Why are you looking for menus now anyway? What? I can't buy dinner for my favorite son and his... I tilted my head curious. Competition? Dad. What? Am I not allowed to treat you for some food if I want? That's one of the perks of being a dad, I'll let you know. I'm not going to turn down free food, but I don't know, it seems kind of strange. Do you even know what I want to order? Nope, but I could solve that by just getting everything I ordered. Well, is Ty coming over? Are we getting dinner for him too? Yup, can't have him going hungry now, can we? Of course not. Should I wander down to see if he was coming or not? You could just shoot him a message on your phone. But outside. Fine, but don't go getting hit by a car, or talking to strangers, or getting lost, or setting anything on fire. His house is only down the street. Awfully suspicious that you're not readily promising a police officer that you won't go causing trouble. I keep forgetting that David's a police officer. Was a police officer. Well, maybe I will go cause trouble. I'll put recycling in the trash and see mean words to someone. You dork. Go on, see what Tyson's doing, and I'll see you in a bit. But please don't go causing trouble. I know you won't, but gotta do that thing. I know, promise, Dad. For just wandering down the street, I went out without shoes. It was warm enough in the day that I walked down the path to Tyson's house enough times that I could almost do it blindfolded. But like most times I went over, I had to be careful. Mostly because his dad was someone that I didn't like being around. He smelled funny and was mostly just angry. As chance would have it, though, Ty was sitting on the side of the front deck. Ty! His ears perked up when he noticed me. Not that I was hard to miss, but he seemed to have been distracted with his phone. Oh, hey. What's going on? His phone went off and checked it again before shoving it into his pocket. As for me, I leaned on the fence watching him. Apparently I'm babysitting tonight. Well, hey, it's a job, alright? Although, who let you babysit? Your dad, apparently. It took a second for the comment to sink in as I huffed. I got up and joined me for a walk back. Is your dad not around? Worked this morning, then promptly passed out drunk after an hour of getting home. If it didn't smell so strong, I'd let you hang out. Tempting, but alternatively, Dad's apparently ordering us food for dinner. Yeah, what's he going with? Apparently what he'd order, he admitted he doesn't know what I normally want, so he's deciding for me. Dude, even you barely know what you want. Unless we order from that one place that only does fried chicken. Even then, the pain of getting you to pick a sauce comes with it. But there's so many! There's like 6, Dave. That's so many! He's literally me, bro. Remind me not to suggest you to pick first on anything ever then. I'll get better at it eventually. Just, I don't know what to pick when all the options are good. Dad, we're back. Oh, really? Yes? His eyes went from me to Tyson, still awkwardly standing in the doorway. Well, come on in. No need to be that nervous. Hey, David. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance, back. And as you too. And to you too, Mr. Back. It took a moment of him rubbing me vigorously on the head to clue what he meant. No, bad dad joke, bad dad. I'm your best dad, I'll have you know that. You're my only dad. Still counts. I closed the door behind him, shuffling past the sand in the middle of the living room. Instead, blocking the front entrance, we both watched him as he slumped on the sofa, rubbing his face. Hey, what's the matter, bud? Something got you down? Nah, I'm fine. Well, if that ever changes, just let me know. But for now, what do my 2 favorite guys want for dinner? His face lit back up, his tail thumping on the sofa. I'm gonna picking what you would order. But then there are so many good options, I couldn't decide. God, you two are alike. Guess you're the one that gets to pick tonight, Tyson. What would be, champ? Dad handed over a neat stack of menus over for Tyson to look through. Well, he turned to me. Do people keep menus, and do you guys keep menus in your house these days? Just to order from a place? Do you guys actually do that? I know I used to do that back when I used to live in New York. But, like, I don't know. What do you think he's gonna pick? Don't know. Probably from that chicken place. The one where it gets all crispy and dusted with seasoning salt, or the one that comes from the military rooster place? I can hear you, you know. Busted. All three of us laughed. I miss laughing. I miss laughing that heartily, and nothing had really got me in the mood to do so for a long time. I'll leave you guys to it. I'm gonna get something done real quick, and I'll be back to place to order for dinner before I get ready for work. Alright, catch you in a bit. So, dinner. Yeah, still picking. What's it? Cut me some slack. He narrowed it down to 2, the rest sitting off to the side of the coffee table. So we're having chicken? Yes. Is there a problem with that? No! Chicken is good! I like chicken. Well, good. I'm getting chicken. And don't worry about the sauces. I've already got it covered. Oh, well, cool. Now we just wait until Dad gets back? We head back upstairs, and I collapsed on the bed while Ty took my chair at my desk. Oh my god. Jesus, there's a lot of talking. That's the prompts of being a visual novel, I guess. So, what do you want to do tonight? I don't know. I didn't know you were coming over until Dad mentioned it. I'm basically always over. Why would that matter? You could play a game or something I could watch, or we'll watch a movie or something. I don't know. Is there anything you wanted to do? We could go out somewhere. Nah, I'd rather not go anywhere. Besides, if you got food coming to us, there's no point. Suppose that's true. Well, how about we start with games? Watch a movie while we eat up and then go from there? I guess that works. Sure. Ty? What's the matter? You're normally more, I remember struggling with how I wanted to phrase it without seeming mean. Granted, I should have known that even if I did say something mean, he would have just turned back on me. Nah, I'm fine. Just thinking about stuff. Yeah? Cool stuff? Or guy stuff? Oh, so that's what Dad was talking about. Wait, he told you? Only that you two needed to talk about guy stuff, and maybe he told me when I was older. Fuck, don't scare me like that. Wait, it's not that bad, is it? I mean, you could talk to me about it too if you wanted. Maybe when you're older? That's Dad's line. You can't pull that one on me too. Well, too bad. I am. Suck it up. Followed my eyes and sat up to look at him. Well, fine. Maybe I won't tell you about my guy stuff. I don't care who you're fucking. Hey, first of all, you totally do. Second, I haven't hooked up with anyone. Yeah, the whole saving yourself shtick. You sure your buddies haven't tried playing wingman for you yet? Maybe if I asked them, maybe I just haven't met the right guy yet, too. One look on your phone will tell me if you're being a perv, though. Who's being a pervert? Oh my god. Dad leaned on the doorway to my room to look at us. You two behaving? Yes, sir. Nope. Well, in that case, I'm gonna borrow one of you that is behaving while I order dinner. Wait, am I meant to just stay here? Yeah, we can't be that one, can we? Won't be long at all. Just gonna get our guy chat out of the way, and then we're good to go. Oh, we're doing that now? Sorry, bud. Better to chat about it now while we have the time, given I have work. I already made you wait for it, and I'm not gonna feel right until you get the chance to get stuff off your chest. This sounds a lot more serious than what I thought it was gonna be. Maybe only a little bit. It's a good chat, though. I can promise that much. Looking over to Tyson, I saw him nodding, if only barely. Yeah, good talk. Shouldn't take too long, just to say. I wander off back downstairs, and I was left puzzled as to what they went to talk about. It was something that I hadn't even thought to ask about this day either. Other stuff just seemed more important. Or maybe not important, but for sure distracting. I wander over to my desk and look at my art supplies. Nothing really drawing me as far as working on something now. So I pulled out a square piece of paper and started folding. I got into origami when Orlando had given me a beginner set for my birthday. 1 year. Oh my god. I was able to make stuff there was a process, and while it wasn't great at it, I liked what I usually ended up with. The downside was that it typically took a while for me to get anywhere. Following the instructions with the book I had, and before I knew it, a whole hour had passed with me sitting here, just a single quadruple of lopsided wolf. I wonder if what's taking them. I wonder what's taking them so long. I had a lot of guy stuff to talk about, Bucko. Dinner's all ordered, and Tyson's still downstairs. Promise that he's all yours now. We head downstairs together with Dad wandering off to have a shower, get ready for work, while I look for Tyson. Tyson, where are you? He was just sitting at the dining table with a cup of coffee. He looked upset. Ty? He turned to look at me, flashing me a quick smile before drinking from his cup. Hey. Sorry, I didn't hear you. You doing alright? Yeah. I made you this while I waited, I guess. What's this? An origami wolf? It's like it got hit by a car. Rude much? Hey, not my fault. I call it like I see it. You, talked to Dad about your guy stuff for long enough? Ted looked... I call it sad, but it was something more than that. Worried? Maybe scared? I couldn't quite place it. Yeah. I joined him at the table as we sat for the next little bit while he finished his coffee. It was kind of nice just waiting around, taking the afternoon slowly. Eventually we have dinner and I'd just be the same way as any other day. Alright boys, I'm off. Ty was lazing about on the sofa while Dad walked by, and they shared a mutual thumbs up before Dad went outside. Dad, wait up! Whenever... What's this music? I'm gonna cry. He turns to look at me, much like Tyson did when I found him by the kitchen. What bothered me more was that he didn't say goodbye like he normally did. Maybe it was just a sign that I was growing up, but I liked to see him off to work. I rushed him up to hug him around the middle. He didn't say goodbye. Oh, Dave. He pulled his arms around me, quickly hugging me. He close, pressing his nose on the top of my head while he breathed and deep, sighing, rubbing my back. I love you, kid. I love you too, Dad. Have a good night at work? As he eased back, I did too. He lingered, holding back on my head and pressing his forehead to mine. Ugh. Dave? Yeah? Keep Tyson out of trouble. He said all he needed to say before I knew, and leaning on the mailbox, watching his car pull out the driveway and disappear down the street. Night went as well as it could have up to a point. Tyson and I played games, ate dinner, just lounged around waiting until Dad got back. Chances were that we'd be up in the early hours in the morning, but to see him again. It was late, not later than late enough, but the flashing red and blue lights cued to me that Dad's coming home. I was excited. I threw open the door to greet him home, but normally he switched off the lights before coming inside. I told myself he'd just forgotten and that I was eager to get back inside to see me again. I remember Dad's police buddy coming to the door. Something was wrong, but maybe it was just to say Dad had to stay late, or maybe he'd forgotten something. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Oh, but no. Oh. Hoyt told me that Dad wouldn't be coming home. Not to... Oh, this is the night that it happened. There was a shooting and Dad had been hit. By the time they got him to the hospital, it was too late. The words stunned me in a way I couldn't process sound, scent, or color. Tyson was there, yelling, maybe while I wandered back inside, dazed. Dad was dead. I'm gonna cry, bro. My dad was dead. Never to come home again, never to say he loved me, or be there when I was upset, scared, or frightened. Not ever again. I whined out, tugging my ears. It seemed something though Tyson had finished telling his version of the story, and I stood suddenly kicking over the chair that I'd been in. It's not fair. I knew they were staring, but I didn't care. I wanted to scream louder, but I just couldn't. Why did he have to? My knuckles went white under my fur with how hard I gripped the table while I whined again. Something inside me was throbbing, breaking, cracking, or even shattering into pieces. Why did... Oh my god, he's crying! I was like a damn burst. My face became wet with every tear I had shed since he died. I cried under strain, and it hurt deeper than anything else that happened over the past few days. Oh, Dave! If there was a moment I wanted to die, it would have been then. If only there'd be the hope to see him again. I want my dad. I what? Tyson pulled me quickly to him, hugging me tight, and I didn't stop. It didn't stop the crying, but it gave me something to cling on to, almost to the point that I was threatening to pull on his fur. It must have hurt, but he didn't move. Instead, supporting me on his awkward hug, he listened. And I want my brother back. Oh, this is so fuck. Words crowded my chest, and I found myself breathless with how he held me. Oh my god! Dean was next, followed by Orlando, staying quiet but throwing their arms around us too. Then was Haas and Roswell, not nearly hugging as hard as the other two, but I could feel them near, and it was nice. It was helping. Sal was the last, almost throwing his arms around everyone, and I just continued to bawl my eyes out. After long, I lost the strength to stand. Oh my god, this is so... Oh... Guys, oh, I'm fucking tearing up here. It's so... Oh, so the flashback was the night it happened. Oh my god. It's so wholesome, but so sad. My heart had been breaking over a year, and now it felt like I was holding in what broken pieces were left in my hands, desperately hoping someone would be able to put it back together. But slowly, I started to realize that maybe I'll be okay. Maybe not right away, but maybe someday. Surrounded by the warmth of my friends, I passed out again, exhausted and drained of everything that just happened. But at least I felt at peace. Huh? When I opened my eyes, I was in my bedroom. I had no idea what time it was or how long I'd slept, but for the first time in a few days, I had an appetite. Oh. Sitting up in bed, I noticed a piece of paper, barely folded, by my bedside table. I scanned the words and smiled weakly. A note from Tyson saying that when I was ready, we could talk if I wanted. The others had left notes too, Orlando and Roswell saying that they loved me, Sal and Dean expressing that they'll support me in any way I needed. Then simply from Haas was another offer to talk, but punctuated with a simple apology. I wandered out of the room, it seemed as if the house was quiet. I must have really been out for a while. Everything in the refrigerator looked good, and I grabbed what seemed to be leftovers and shoveled it down. The moment I tasted it, I recognized Orlando's cooking, and it reminded me of home. Maybe not like the literal sense, but a place of comfort far away from its place. My head was still swimming with the flood of emotions that I'd been hit with earlier in the day. But for now, I was doing alright. I knew though I wasn't going to get off that easy. Part of me wished I could gush about Dad to others so they'd understand, but Orlando and Roswell were there, so I could possibly explain how big of a deal he was to me. If not them, then Tyson. He told them his side of the story after all. More importantly, I couldn't hide what I tried to do twice. Then what happened with Jack? Most importantly, why I'd been messing with the vault. It made me realize that unless I leaned onto it like a crutch, it wasn't all that useful. It wasn't really a time machine, but it had its uses. The main problem was putting it into words for the others to understand. Thankfully, with Oswald around, it made things a little easier. Barely understood it when he told me, but hearing it directly from him should be help. God, hold on. There's no reason I could think of to be as tired as I was all the time, but maybe I'd become so used to feeling this way that I never thought it could be a reason. Not that I'd suddenly become a morning person, like Sal or even Haas overnight. As I yawned, I caught some movement off to the side. Haas standing in the doorway of one of the adjoining rooms. Our eyes met for a moment before he gestured me to the side room, heading on in without me waiting. I took a seat on one of the sofas in the room, and Haas sat there enough away as my space separate in a chair. At first he didn't say anything, seemingly thinking over his words before we broke the silence. I didn't expect it to be something that hard-hitting. I sighed, rubbing my head. Don't get me wrong, I can only imagine what it's like, but I think I understand a little. Losing someone you're that close to, it must be rough. Yeah, it is. He nodded, slowly shifting his chair uncomfortably. But it's not all bad, just mostly bad? What do you mean? Well, I don't know. Ty never left, especially in that first week. He was just very, I don't know, intent on making sure I was okay. Stuff like making sure I ate, bathed, even sat outside a bit each day to get some sun. So I have to be thankful for that at least. It takes a lot for someone who, I guess, feels the same way. The fact that he called you a brother gives me a type of idea where his head might be. I know I'd do the same for my siblings if something like that happened. Maybe I've never had a brother or sister, so Tyson was the only thing I've got that's close. Also, Hoss nodded slowly, running his hands through his mane. When you woke up, did you read the note? Yeah, it was nice, I think. Something I wasn't used to for sure. Well, that's a plus. Hoss's been scarce since he took the syringe away. Otherwise, I'd be asking him if it was actually, well, what it said on the label. He didn't come back? Benson did, but said that Osmond had some stuff he wanted to think over. Maybe the test didn't go so great, or maybe he's just waiting to hear it from you directly. If it wasn't so late, I'd probably go talk to him now, because I'd like to talk to him. So, you really didn't, you know. Shook my head, and he nodded in understanding. Reaching out, he patted my shoulder, leaving his hand there for a bit. Good. I mean, we still don't know what happened, but please don't hide the serious stuff anymore. It just makes us worry about you more. Okay, but Haas, tomorrow's gonna be a little hard. Hard how? Just something Osmond told me a while back. Something that probably led to everything being a mess. Fault? Something like that, yeah. Just don't go breaking again trying to tell us. If Osmond knows about it already, just make sure he's in the room too, right? I nodded slowly, having the same idea as my plan. Not that I was much of one, but having some backup when I had to bring up the task he set for me seemed like the right call. Tiredness caught me again, and I yawned, rubbing my eyes. You should get back to bed. I could only imagine how exhausted you are. Yeah. We both stood up, and I knew that if I didn't get back to bed soon, I'd comfortably pass out the moment I found somewhere nice to lay down. Hey, I'm sorry. Not just for forcing it out of you, but also just everything. I shook my head and flashed him a quick smile. It's alright. Someone had to do it, right? Still, I'm sorry, Dave. Thanks, Haas. See you in the morning. As long as you don't sleep the day away again. I got up to my room and sighed, resting back on the door as I closed it behind me. I'd barely been awake for it, but the day had been long tired. Wandering over to my bed, I laid down in an attempt to get some more sleep. For as tired as I was, part of me wanted to stay awake, fearing another dream like the one I had. Or maybe just waking up sad upon seeing my dad again. But desperate mind and heart, not wanting it to happen, my body needed the rest, and I slowly drifted off. Day 15, God, dude, that was so, like, what's this music? When I opened my eyes, I knew I was dreaming again. Part of me wondered why I was having dreams this vivid, but I didn't mind too much, at least not yet. I sat up in my bed looking around my room. Seeing it again made me wonder how it'd feel when I got back home. An ache in my chest reminded me that Dad wasn't there, but maybe Mom would be? Tyson would be there for sure. I could still hear his voice in my ear, calling me brother, hugging me tight, just being there for me. The memory of him talking to Dad before he went to work lingered though. I'm wondering if now I'd be considered old enough to finally know what sort of stuff. How old is Dave? That's the question. How old was Dave during the memory, and how old is Dave now? Can someone clarify that for me? Or maybe that's what the compendium is. It like gives you info on the character. So when I beat the game, I'll get info. Finding myself downstairs, I looked around the room. I wanted to see Ty again. Not that it was much of an ask, given he was elsewhere in the same house. But I felt long. Ty? All you have to do is literally ask. You're in a dream, buddy. Looking over the sofa, I saw him sitting there looking stiff. Not that he seemed to pay much mind, but seeing him put me at ease. What? I found a problem with what I see. I just wanted to see you, I think. You dork. I'm not a dork for loving you, you jerk. The words were out of my mouth before I realized it. My mind filled in Tyson's reply almost immediately, along with rolling of his eyes and a tired sigh. I'm not gay. I know, Ty, but like, what if you weren't? He didn't say anything, probably because I didn't know how the real Tyson would respond to something like that, now of all times. All I know is that, I don't know, I think you're good enough if you wanted to be, you know. Sorry, I guess I just wish I could have this talk with you in person without you being so defensive. You know how the talk goes, though. You sure you want your heart broken? Dean's a good guy. Well, maybe I don't love Dean, alright? Don't love Dean? Well, we're not, he's... That's high uncertain. Dean and I weren't dating, so as much as I liked him, maybe that wasn't good enough. Can we talk in the morning, What do you think? I think... I'd like to think you'd want to talk to me. And I guess you have to see in the morning. Everything slowly faded to inky black, my mind settling back into unconsciousness like the rest. By the time I awoke, I felt different. Not worse or better. Not better or worse, just different. I wasn't even sure that I felt rested, but at the very least, I didn't want any more sleep. Taking a shower to wake myself up properly, I dressed in some fresh clothes and headed on downstairs. I think I hit the stairs and ran into Osmond, who was about to head down himself. Morning. Yeah, good morning. We ascended the stairs in silence. Once we reached the bottom, I fumbled for what I wanted to say. Are you upset with me? He froze in his tracks. Should I be? Well, the needle and the bottle. I have questions to say the least, but now is not the time for that. And later? Of course later. You have enough on your plate as it is. Although I will say I expect answers. Right, yeah, that makes sense. But I have some questions too about that. Well, that. What kind of questions? You say we're not gonna get into it now, but just be ready for me to ask some questions too. Very well. When the time comes, I'll be sure to collect you for a little chat. Together we made our way into the dining room, splitting off as I sat down with the others already at the table. Morning. Turned to Sal and Roswell. Haas seemed unsure of how to answer. Roswell nudged both Haas and Sal before shooting me a quick smile. Morning, Dave. Sleep alright? Yeah, I slept. That's good, right? Did you need sleep more? You could go back to bed if you want. Especially with yesterday being so... He gestured with his hands, filling the rest of the sentence. I think I'm good for now, at least. Just need to wake up some more and have something to eat. You name it, I'll make it. Honest. Maybe just give him some space where I know. He's right here. He can speak for himself. Just trying to be thoughtful. It's okay, really. I don't know. Sighing out, I shook my head. Don't worry, I got it. Just sit there, Dave. No, Ty, it's okay. What I really want to say is sorry. You have nothing to apologize for. Well, to be fair, he kinda does, but that's for later. Sorry for making everyone worry, and that the silence all around when I trailed off, breathing in deep. I'm sorry I've been a shitty friend. I'm just glad you're alive. Which, all things considered about what happened, well... Alright, maybe let's not do this over breakfast. He hasn't even had coffee yet. Despite me saying I was able to manage, Ty got up and wandered towards the kitchen, presumably to get me something to drink. Oh, right, breakfast! Hang tight, Dave. I'll make you something. Before I could get a word in edgewise, he was hot on Tyson's heels and just right into the kitchen, much the same. It's alright if we take today slowly? Well, yeah, of course. I didn't have any plans yesterday. Most of us were just waiting for me. Didn't seem right to go planning out anything after you passed out. After we made sure you were comfortable in bed, we just sort of sat around sharing stories. Mostly nice memories we had of you, just trying to lift the mood a little. And since been near constant looking out for that, who we saw in the woods. Now slowly the image of Jack flashing through my head. Run as fast as you can. My hands went to my head and I cowered in my chair. I hear his voice echo through my head like I was back out in the woods. No, I'm safe. Shut my eyes tight to try and block him out. He was there. I flinched when I felt something touch my shoulder, fearing it. Just give up, Dave. Let whatever happens, happen. Dave! was trembling back on the floor, Ty holding me over steady. I was breathing hard, still reeling from the docks of Jack and everything. Ty! Tied up and clung to him, heart beating rapidly on my chest. Just tightly held onto someone as he guided me back to my feet and eased me back down to the chair. Pick up. Alright, who was it? Oh, me! Well, me, but... A snarling Ty advanced on Roswell, but was caught by the scruff. That's enough. You didn't mean to. You didn't mean it, Tyson. Fine. Give him a chance to recover first. Sorry, I didn't realize it would provoke a reaction like that so easily. He's not around, is he? Sounds. Broken out of a trance, the smell hit me. Immediately caused me to rise to the sweet scent. Butter, cinnamon, maple syrup. At first I thought of waffles before I took a breath through my nose. Oh my, I love French toast, bro. I love French toast, guys. French toast, I will take French toast out over waffles, over pancakes, over hash browns. I will take French toast over all three of them shits. Yeah, I know you like eggs, so I must have pounced a little too eagerly, almost inhaling it, barely savoring the rich goodness that coated my tongue. Slow down or you're gonna choke. Second piece was midway through my mouth before I paused, looking around at the others. Sorry, I guess I'm just hungry. I'm gonna go make some more then. Anyone else want any? A couple hands went up, and Ty shook his head. Give whatever I have to Dave. Alright, sure. I'll be back again. I'll go make myself useful. Be back soon. She then wandered off in the kitchen and I resumed to shoveling food in my mouth. I had a question. Who? For Dave. Sure, what's the question? What would you like to do today? Well, thought about it. Ralph furrowed the option the mansion gave us seemed to be fair, but then again, I thought of going outside was still stunning shivers. The only thing I had in mind was really to talk to Osmond. Good questions. I wanted to know more about what I found, plus where I went, what it all meant. This was his home, so he was bound to know more about what is surrounding it, right? I haven't really thought about it. Just something later with Osmond, really. I see. Well, perhaps it would be best to take it easy today. Rest days are important. Plenty to do inside anyway. Maybe we could have another movie night as a group. I must have noticed I was frowning before I realized I was doing it, poking me sadly. Stop frowning. I'm not frowning. I was just thinking. Right, well, how's a movie day sound? Maybe? In reality, I didn't really want to be around a bunch of people. I still felt ashamed for the past few days and wanted sometimes to think about what was going to happen next. Was I still broken? I felt better and worse at the same time, and I didn't really know if it was down to me. Then what did you want to do? Sleep, maybe, or just lay down? I looked at him carefully, eyes narrowing the moment, realized it's a clue into how I was feeling. Alright. I opened my mouth to say something and then shut it again, wondering how best to approach. I want to talk to him about given the dream I had. Not to mention things from the past couple of days. If there was any hope of me finding out what he and Dad talked about, I'd have to ask him directly. That's assuming he even remembered. But can I let you know later? After breakfast, maybe? I think it should be fine. Wouldn't mind watching a movie, assuming Hollis isn't using the television upstairs. Better yet, why don't we watch something together? Might find something that we both like. And it's just gonna end up in anime again, isn't it? The moment you find something better than anime to watch, let me know. Eventually, we all settled in for more French toast, and I finally got myself some coffee. Something about it tastes different. Not bad, but different. Maybe different was just a new feeling that I was going to have to get used to. Everyone seemed intimate and focused on eating, except for Tyson, who slid his plate over to me. He didn't seem to look at me as he did, instead fiddling with his phone while he drank his coffee. With my belly full, I yawned. There was nothing like a good meal, and breakfast was a good reminder of it. Sitting in the foyer, I stretched out after Orlando had offered to take my plate for me, and I left it run. For an entrance hall, it was quite big, to the point it almost seemed wasteful of space. But the house I lived in was fairly open as well, so maybe it was just something I wasn't used to. Wandering over to the door, I felt my fur tingle closer. My eyes were locked on the world outside the door. I couldn't bring myself to cross the last few steps to reach the handle. I was still standing there, feeling with my hands and tail tucked between my legs. Not that I wanted to go outside anyway, but there was the fear that Jack was just waiting under the sight in the trees. I went from the back door and noticed Tyson lingering in the back near the stairs. Watching me. He didn't say anything to indicate he was there, instead just watching. Maybe waiting for me to say something first? I can't do it. Go outside, I mean. Did you even want to? Maybe? Probably not. It just, I shrugged, skittering towards Tyson before it continued. I'm scared. No shit, you're scared. Don't think anyone would blame you either, pup. He cut himself off, scratching his fur. He meant to He was gonna call me pup there. Do you no longer call me pup? For what reason? What reason, Ty? Come on! My mind is, don't go wandering out there without telling someone. Don't go out there without telling me, alright? Almost lost you once. Sorry. He approached me carefully, wrapping me in our hug briefly before a tight squeeze. I felt a little better. What are you doing here by yourself? Just thinking, really. I don't really know how I should be feeling, but everything feels different now. Not like a bad different or good different, but just different. I didn't seem to understand it, etc. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I didn't seem to understand, instead just frowning as he watched me in silence. What I meant is that I'm wondering if I'm still me, I guess, or what that even means, even after this past year and a half. This is why you bailed before you could let me know you were watching shit with Silent House. I blinked, having already forgotten that I said that. Am I bad? No shit. Good to know you're slowly getting back to normal. I don't think I really want to be around a bunch of people today, Ty. I feel embarrassed after yesterday still. He turned to go and I grabbed him quickly by the arm. What? Can we hang out today? Just the two of us? Alright, what do you want to do? I didn't get that far, but at the very least, I had a dream last night that I want to talk to you about. What kind of dream? Not a bad one, just, I don't know, one that made me want to talk to you about stuff. He sighed, rolling his eyes. If this is about what I think it's about, then I don't really want to rehash what we've already talked about. Now it's slowly dropping my hand away. I understand. I'll go find someone else to hang out with to keep my mind off. His eyes narrowed. Couldn't tell if it was because he was thinking something over, or he was just suspicious that I was pulling a fast one on him. Groaning, he threw his hands up before lazily laying them land casually on my shoulder. Fine. We'll have to talk again. I fucking swear, Dave, this better be the last time. Can't promise that. Our reply came in fast enough that made Tyson flinch, looking at me carefully. So many things I barely understand, and sure, I could probably ask Dean or Orlando or Roswell or literally anyone smarter than me to explain them. Breathing in deep, I continued shutting my eyes so I didn't lose my resolve, and just saying what I needed to get off my chest. But they're not my family. They're not you. Not only that, but because some of these things are directly about you, I don't want what other people think when I can ask how you feel. When I opened my eyes again, Tyson looked shell-shocked, going to say something every other second, but fumbled over what specifically he wanted to say. So until I understand, I'm going to keep asking you. At the very least, because you're the older brother between the two of us, right? Help me understand what's going on. Next moment, I twirled his hands around my muzzle, keeping it shut. His voice was brought down low and his gaze averted somewhere. Okay, I get it. You don't have to make such a fucking scene in the middle of the foyer. You're gonna be surprised if the whole house heard you with that. Easing off, he sighed as I rubbed my face. Meet me in my room in a couple minutes. I'm just gonna word up Sal and Haas. They're watching stuff on their own for however long this takes. Thanks, Ty. Should we keep going? I don't want to end the video here yet. I'm gonna keep going. I am gonna keep going. Let's keep going, guys. I wandered back to the dining room without a pause, looking at me quick. As he sorted out plans for the day, I headed up to his room. Looking around, there was part of me that didn't want to be here. Almost like I was forbidden grounds to tread on. But in the reality, the moment my eyes fell on his bed, I whined with memories from weeks ago. Nothing happened, but they shouldn't have gotten to that far. Another thing we need to talk about at some point. Is he talking about what happened on day 6? if you guys know, you know. By the time Ty came back, I was still awkwardly standing in the middle of the room. Giving me a funny look, he closed the door behind him and wandered past me to the bed, sitting down. You coming? I'm good for now. What the fuck are you standing there for? You remember a week ago, right? Immediately his ears drooped and mood deflated. Fuck. Right. We should do this in your room if you want. Or literally anywhere else if that's better. No, it's fine, I think. That's not one of the things. But that's just one of the things I don't understand. We'll get to that later though. Carefully I wandered over to the bed and sat down next to him, frowning. So, I had a dream last night about you. What kind of dream? Well, it's about being back home. How things would be after we got back from this, well, vacation, I guess. What do you think they would be like? Different? Different, sure. Like, maybe I'd be dating someone, maybe not. Maybe the others would be around somehow. Or maybe it'd just be you and me. Well, you know I want to sort my shit out and bail too, right? I'd forgotten about it, in all honesty, making me hang my head and sighing out. Please don't leave too tight. If everyone leaves, then where does that leave me? Maybe you should go somewhere too. Maybe hit up a beach and have a decent vacation after this one. You like the beach. I like the beach because you and Dad were there. If neither of you two are around, it wouldn't be the same, I think. Glancing at him, I noticed him nodding slowly. Yes, that's fair. Just a reminder that you're alone, huh? Yeah. But that's not the important part, Ty. Then what is it? The past few nights, they've all been dreams about Dad, but after yesterday, the one person I wanted to see the most, I feel silly for being so mushy. I feel my ears burn and cheeks go red under my fur. It was you. So, you could hear it before I looked over him, the steady thumping of his tail against the bed. Look, you said you're not gay. I get that. And then you tell me you're not sure. I get that too. But is it bad that I want to know for you to be sure? I might not even be your type, and that's cool too. But just not knowing makes it hard for me to be able to know what's alright to say and what isn't okay to do. And without either, it's just very hard to do anything. Breathing again, I felt myself getting worked up. Not in the sad way, but more annoyed in the way that made my words come out closer to a bark than I intended. Then we got everything going on with you and Haas, which is cool, but I feel a little jealous that he was my friend first. But I'm also happy that you have a friend now, but then I'm worried about what happened a week ago now. Oh, and then people pushing me towards Dean, and you don't like Dean? Oh, I don't love Dean, Ty. But I suddenly replied I wasn't aware of what I was saying until I almost spilled the bean. You what? Fuck, if you love someone, then damn, tell them already. Easier said than done. A few moments passed when I figured out what I wanted to say in a spur of the moment. I couldn't just confess right then and there that I loved Ty, without being completely sure that was the case. As I looked at Ty, it seemed like he already knew and was struggling to find a way out of the awkward situation I put us in. Then I'll tell them to back off. Wait, what? I'll tell the others to back off from trying to set you up with Dean. Easy. It took a few seconds for me to understand, and I wasn't sure if Ty had missed the point or if he was conveniently giving me an out. I rubbed my face, sighing with a slump on the place. I'm just not sure. It's like if we were home again, laying down next to each other, just hanging out. Be it on the grass, up in front of the lawn in the backyard, middle of the living room, or my bed. Ty, why can't it be easy to fall in love with someone and just this whole thing sort itself out? If it's shit like that. That's why. That is true, guys. Life is shit. I type so fucking loudly. No kidding. Even the people that should love you don't always, and it sucks. That's why David ruled so much. You could probably just call him Dad, I think. That made me smile, if a little misty-eyed. I would have probably been fine with it. Until my own dad kicks the bucket. And I hope for that piece of shit kneels over sooner rather. Oh my god, Ty! I knew already that Ty's dad wasn't the greatest of all fronts, but hearing him be so direct about it, wanting him dead, was a first. That's not a nice thing to say, Ty. I don't care. He's better off dead so that he can't hurt anyone else. Don't want him even thinking of coming near you either. Is he really that bad? Like, really? Fucking, you saw the house, you saw the alcohol. First, mom ditched me with him and just saw that as an excuse to make me pick up the slack and blame me for her not being around. He was almost below the ceiling to the point I was considering covering my ears. Instead, I just reached out for her hand and grabbed it tightly. He seemed content to just keep ranting, although squeezed my hand back. He made me go at you when you came over most days. He'll just go to work to get paid and then blow most of it to get drunk. I'd be dead if it wasn't for you. He didn't. He turned suddenly on his face to his side, faced me, bringing his voice low, although there was still that noticeable growl in his voice. And then here I am now, even fucking acting like him because I don't know how to not be a shit person when I want people to leave me alone. I don't really understand. You know damn well what I'm talking about, Dave. Our eyes met for a brief second before he looked away, leaving me to puzzle it out myself. We almost did a week ago? It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have even been a thing I'd consider. Like, shit! Being in your position was bad enough as it was. He trailed off suddenly, his grip on my hand eased off entirely and hung his head between us. I could hear him whimpering softly as he seemed to recall something. I was only a kid. I didn't know the only thing. I did the only thing I knew how, and sat my chin atop his head and rubbed his arm. What could I even say to that? The implication was so clear as day. I feared that if I pushed a little more information, I'd lose what ability I had to ignore it. Time ticked by as we laid like that, motionless. The whimpering died down to almost seem that Ty had fallen asleep until he spoke again. You should hate me for that. It wasn't a nice thing to do to me. If I told any of the others, they'd be out for blood. They'd be out for blood for sure. And you haven't? Because if I did, that'd be abandoning you. That'd be abandoning you instead of finding out why it happened. Why do you treat me like that way? I shifted around so that he could instead place his head on top of mine, forcing my nose against his neck, or rather that arranged both of us so we were comfortable. I didn't think you were serious for a few days after that. Even with the gun thing, and Benson just assumed, well, you were thinking about your dad. Oh wait, that was Tyson. That was Tyson speaking. Whoops. The Benson thing was different. Losing you as well as dad would be too much, I think. Right. You're a fucking idiot, Dave. You stopped me from going to the woods to get shanked and head on in yourself like you forgot. That was my turn to whine, but instead, he just shifted a hand onto my shoulder and started rolling my back. Glad neither of us ended up dead, you know. Me too. For a few moments, we just laid there until I prodded him gently against the chest. Why'd you get so upset that day? That you resorted to that? Oh no. Probably because I was scared that I'd end up hurting you. If I stuck around, maybe. Or that I'd get jealous and take it on someone else. And you hate me. The fuck thing is that if you were gonna hate me, I'd rather be because of something I did directly to you, right? That makes sense, sure. What I don't get is why that even crossed your mind. Did you want me to hate you or something? Nah, it's not like that. It's we both sat up. Hold on one second. Looking crestfallen while he rubbed his face. Thought, what's the worst thing that could happen to me? And what could I do to you? Then if you hated me, I could make a clean split and figure myself out. Then you'd not be like worrying about me, making sure everyone else was getting along with me too. That's kinda dumb, Ty. The fuck is that supposed to mean? Do you think that now of all times I'd be looking to randomly hate you just because? Hell, right after I was claiming that I was trying to save your life and even willing to strip down in the backyard to keep you safe? Ty, come on. If that's not evidence enough to how important you are to me, then I don't know what is. My mouth suddenly felt dry, grasping out my next breath as I pulled on the brakes of my train of thought. Hold on a second. Try now. Fuck. Alright. Well, it took me by surprise, that's for sure. Do you love me? What? You know, like, at all? Where the fuck is this coming from? I don't know. Everything's complicated, and it just remember things. I just remember things being simpler. What am I to you? A brother? Less than that? More than that? I'm gonna level with you. I don't know. I like to know this feeling, but it's scary as hell. Sometimes it's a good feeling, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's just such a fucking downer. I'd rather just be not there. Ooh. Look, I know what you want me to say, but I just don't want to say it. What if I don't mean it? What if it turns out to get your hopes up and I'm just like not able to return what you feel for me? I haven't said how I feel yet. You're not exactly subtle. Plus, I kind of know how you'd say it anyway. Suddenly not even sighing out. His eyes went to the floor and his tail remained deathly still. It's one of the last things David said to me anyways. What? Yeah. Remember, the guy talk we had for like an hour? I remember. I never did find out what it was about. Probably never will. It was just stuff I needed advice on. Is it all sorted out at least? Not really. Getting there. But part of that was David saying shit that made me feel real uncomfortable. He just laughed it off though. Sort of things. Ty's tail started to thump behind me again, hitting the suspicious cheeks glowing red under his fur. Stupid stuff. Come on, tell me. Whatever it was must have been good, right? Tail seems to think so. Snatching his tail so he could hold it against the bed as he sighed. That he loved me. He was proud and I came asking for advice. Stuff like that. Wasn't the first time I'd done it, so it was just strange. He'd say stuff then of all times, right? That was the best. He was, yeah. We stared at each other for a few moments, just watching or waiting for the other to make the first move. I really am. I hope you know that. What? You really are what? Sorry. I feel like if what happened just didn't, things would be a bit different now. Different how? I don't know. Maybe we'd gone to the beach instead of coming here. Maybe we made plans to move in somewhere together and have a place of our own. Is that something you still want? He shrugged and I thought it over. Well, regardless of where I go, I keep in mind to have a spare bedroom ready and waiting if you need it. No matter whatever boyfriend I might have says. Thanks, Dave. Not pup? Feels weird to say it now. You're not a kid, and you're like more to me than just a pet, so fuck knows if I'll say it again. Well, do you prefer Ty or Tyson? He grumbled something barely coherent, and I caught it all the same. Just like hearing your aww. I just like hearing your voice. I see my head. Oh, that's so sweet. I see my head on his shoulder. I sighed, feeling a little bit better. For me, I guess I like saying Ty. I like saying Ty. Tyson? No, Ty. I hung in the air between us for a bit before I continued wanting to feel more. Like, it's what I call you, right? It's a special thing for me because it's like a nickname or like a thing I'm allowed to because we're close, right? Yeah, sure as hell wouldn't let Haas call me that anyways. He has his own nickname as it is. Right. Randoms calling me that can get fucked too. I have a name. Okay, maybe dial it back a little. My point is that I like saying Ty because it tells me that we're close. I don't really care if others call you that. I care. Calling me that is your thing. Right? It's like how you're Dave instead of going by David. Like, well, David. Yeah, Dave's name is David, but they call him Dave. My friend's name, my friend and his dad. I remember my friend and his dad. They have the same name. They have the same name, and whenever his mom, I could imagine like whenever my friend's mom calls for, like, I remember going to his house one time, and then his mom called for him, and when it wasn't my friend, he he it was his dad. So I think that he actually has a nickname. I don't know. I haven't been to his house in a while. It also helps keep things a little less confusing, but I get what you mean, I think. Not confusing to me. You're just you. As much as a brat as you are. Careful, Ty. Otherwise, I might have to find a new nickname to call you by. Yeah, like you go and do that. I don't know. If I was just calling you Big Dog now, maybe you could be... you could be little... Enough last time I had an arm around my head, grinding a knuckle into the spot between my ears. Okay, I'm sorry. It hurts. I'll go. What was that you were about to call me? Because it better not have been what I think it was. It wasn't. I'm sorry. He let me go. Not before patting the fur on my head back down. Try calling me a bitch again and see what happens. Don't tempt me. That's exactly what Ren... That's exactly what Ren says. If I mess around, like joke around with him and all that, he'll be like, "Don't tempt me." I tried it before, and yeah, he did something back. He surely did something back. Ren, if you're watching this video, hi. I took the time on my phone, quickly saw that we still didn't have any reception. The thought caused me a frown, but more than that, I realized how long we've been chatting for. I was just probably wondering where you are. Fuck it, you're more important. I'll be fine until later. I just like that we talk things out. It's happening later. Oh, well, I have a few things I need to let you guys know. I never really did get around explaining what happened, but I just already feel the thought of Jack and his neck starting to creep up. Hey, it's alright. You're safe. I'm safe, right? I just said that. No, that's not what I meant. Something else is... I found as he watched me. Left my thoughts there, unsure exactly of how to explain it. But if you're in trouble, you better tell me. I'm not sure, at least not yet. What I meant is that, a girl rubbing my face, has thrown an arm over my shoulder, and that made me feel somewhat less apprehensive about the talk I need to have tonight. Come on, let's go hang out with Haas and Sal until you're ready. Despite the plan to head over to the rec room, we headed downstairs for a snack first with the idea that we'd be free to spend the rest of the afternoon without needing a break for lunch. Come on! This seems to be going well. At least a different taste than yesterday. We arrived to meet the other two. We walked in on what appeared to be Haas trying to convince Sal about something. Ah, you're here. Good. You can help me convince Sal to... The moment Haas started talking, Ty was on his way forward, quieting up the trademark move of putting his hand around Haas's face. Leave him alone, Top Cat. Are you feeling better, Dave? Yeah, I'm good. Then I'm glad. Dude, Sal said the magical girl genre and Sentai were the same thing. I just had to correct him on it. It doesn't really matter that much. I started making frustrated sounds and took a moment to get myself comfortable and just enjoy the moment where people around me were happy. It was nice, slowly easing back to things as if they were back to normal. I think we could stop it here. We're at 2 hours already of recording. I'm going to end the video here, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this 2-hour long video. I haven't done a 2-hour long video in the longest. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Next episode, we shall definitely be continuing. Password. Stuff is getting juicy. This was such a freaking emotional episode, bro. Ugh. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe. Road to... Let's do 5,000, you know? Not 5,000. Oh, well, obviously. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Anywho, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a fabulous rest of you guys' day. Peace out, everybody. Bye.